been asked more than one time, what is the best job you ever had?
And what do you answer to that question?
Secretary of State.
Well, it was a good job, as it turned out, because in Arizona, typically, if a governor leaves office before the end of the governor's term, the Secretary of State is asked to be the governor. Isn't that right?
Except you have to be elected to the office. That happened to me twice. Remember when Raúl Castro left?
Yes.
I was appointed, and I could not become governor. And Bruce Babbitt became governor. And then this time, I got to be, because I was elected Secretary of State.
Because you had been elected Secretary of State.
But there was a lot of doubt whether I could serve. Our early Constitution said that a female could not serve in the executive branch of government. But that came up when I was appointed Secretary of State, but I stayed there all those years.
Sure. Well, I think that kind of a provision would not be upheld under the U.S. Constitution today, do you?
No.
I think that would be gone.
They solved that when I got to be governor.
Yes.
It seems like the Supreme Court made that decision that they couldn't hold.
What happened then, after you became Secretary of State eventually? You ended up becoming governor.
Yes, that's the best job I ever had, because you could help more people. You could serve as governor. There was many things you could do, and I worked with 12 of the 17 governors, and each one of them were very, very helpful, those that were living, that helped me when I became governor.
Yes.
And I think the reason that we were so successful is that because I listened to what they had to say. That was true in the legislature. We had friends we worked with, we filed their petitions, we kept them abreast of the laws.
Well, I think public officials at the state level need to pay attention to what the citizens have to say. They really do.
Absolutely.
The citizens have quite a bit to say these days, I think, because there's more coverage through television of what public officials do and say than there used to be when you and I grew up. We didn't even have television out on the Lazy Bee Ranch. We didn't have those things.
No, we didn't either. In fact, I have to say that my role model, since I was a little girl, was my mother.
Yes.
She died in 1970. She taught each and every one of us, we have to help people.
Well,
she had a garden. She did laundry, helped the neighbors. If there was a funeral, she baked for them, and she taught us right from wrong.
That's great.
And
well, I think
my father was very strict, but he was a sports fan.
Is that how you got into sports? Because you were really good.
Well, I wasn't that good, I've got to be honest, but I learned my sports up in Globe. We played on a sand lot next to the Lutheran church, but I can well remember many a function that I've attended where people were born and raised in Globe.
Yes.
And we played ball with them, but there's not very many of us left.
Well, perhaps not, but you earned a real reputation as a ball player.
I was going to ask you, you know, there's people in your lives that keep coming back.
Yes.
And there's two people that have never been out of my life, so to speak. Bill Shover and Eddie Basha.
Yes.
Bill Shover has helped me on many projects. When I was selected the Woman of the Year, Bill Shover was behind it. I turned him down, but...
Well, it was a good selection. I applaud that.
And you were there the year before.
How did you know Eddie Basha?
He came forth when I had a fundraiser for some charity, and every time I call, I can tell you many, many stories about Eddie Basha, and I love all of his phone calls.
Well, he's a wonderful guy and has a good sense of humor, and I got to know him and his family well because they had a cabin at Iron Springs, Arizona, where we had a cabin, and that's how I really got acquainted with Eddie and his family.
He's helped me on more charities than anybody that I've ever known. Good. He's celebrated my birthday since I've been 75, lavish party.
I thought perhaps Eddie would become governor of Arizona someday.
He was defeated, Symington was.
Yes.
But that's all right. There's no ill feeling.
No, there shouldn't be.
No, there never has been.
No.
I must tell you that Eddie Basha gets more people into trouble than anyone. He can
How so?
He can disguise his voice. So if you ever get a funny call,
beware.
beware.
It might be Eddie Basha. Okay.
One that got me, I got a call and he said, "This is Bishop O'Brien."
Oh, dear.
And I said, "The hell you say?" You know, thinking that was Eddie.
Yes.
It was the bishop.
It was the bishop?
And I've never lived it down, but the bishop and I remained
How did the
friends.
bishop react to that?
Oh, he laughed.
Did he laugh?
He knew. He told me I've had hundreds of calls from Eddie Basha, so that went over well.
That's pretty funny.